Hey everyone, it's Kabir here. So in today's session, we are going to understand about the React routing. But before starting the session, don't forget to subscribe, like and share the videos if you find it very useful. So we are going to prepare a rich content as I have already mentioned in the previous videos. So in today's session, we are going to understand about the routing. How can we do routing in our React application? So the first thing, React is a library, so it doesn't provide any feature of routing to us. So for that purpose, for routing, we have to depend upon the third-party libraries. Okay, so one of the famous library we have known as React. It is known as React Router -DOM. This is a library which is registered in your npm registry. So to use the routing in our application, we have to install this library and we have to use it, right? And it is, as the name starts with the React, it doesn't mean that it has been developed by or implemented by the React. It comes out of our React library. So it is a separate library which has been developed by some third party. So to use it, first we have to install it. So how can we install? To install it, we have to use the command like npm install react router -DOM. Okay, once you have installed this in your application, now what React Router DOM says, it says I'm going to provide you the three components. The first component, I'm going to provide you the browser router. Okay, this component is going to be provided by the React Router DOM library. So what they are saying, if you want to use any component for routing, if you want to use routing for any component, then that all components you have to keep in the browser router component. The first thing, the first rule you have to keep. For example, in my application, I have app component, I have some home component, then I have some about component, and I have some contact component. So I have created some three components and I want to provide routing for all these three components. So all these three components I have to keep inside a browser router. This is the first rule. Okay. They have provided one more component known as route. Now they are saying whenever some URL is going to match in your browser, I mean some URL is going to come in your URL section. If you wanted to match that URL section and you want to display something in your browser, I mean to say, for example, in your URL, suppose I have something like, it is a URL which is in your browser. So localhost 3000 slash, whenever this particular URL finds in your browser URL, then you wanted to load some some component. Whenever you have the URL like something home, then your home component should be loaded. Whenever URL have something like about, then your about URL should, I mean about component should be loaded. It means depending upon the URL, your particular component should be loaded in the browser. For that purpose, they give us a predefined component known as route. So what they are saying, route is going to take one attribute known as true. Here you have to mention the path. Like for example, I am mentioning /home. So whenever it is going to match with URL, then that time you have to load which component. For that, again they are providing one more component attribute. Here you have to write the name of the component. For example, I am writing the home. Okay, now this route is is provided by your React Router DOM. So they are saying whenever I am going to see /home inside the URL, then I am going to load your home component. In the same way, if I want to load your about component, so for that what I have to do, I have to configure something like this. Instead of home, I wanted to write about, and it should, I'm going to mention here about component. So I am saying whenever in URL I'm going to find /about, then you should load about component. So that's the minimum features that we have inside our React Router DOM library. So let's practically see how can we implement. Apart from that, they are going to provide one more component known as link. Now this link component is going to behave exactly like your a tag in your HTML, but the difference is link component is not going to reload your page, right? Whereas your a link is going to, anchor tag is going to reload your page. So that's the benefit we get from the link, and this link is also coming from the React Router DOM. So let's practically see how it is going to be implemented. So as to save the time, already I have created some components, like I have created about component, I have created contact component, I have created the home component, right? So first of all, we have to prepare one nav. So to prepare nav, I wanted to create one more component known as nav component. So how can we create a nav component? So I'm going to give like nav.js. So let's create a class based component. So RCC tab. So we have created the nav component. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove it and I'm going to paste in the last, like export default nav. Okay, cool. Now I wanted to give some links, right? Home link, I want to give about link, contact link. So for that, React Router DOM provides us one component known as link. So to use that link component, first of all, we have to import it, right? So let's import it. So import, as I already installed the React Router DOM library. So I have told you how to install it, right? So it is coming from the node module. So I'm going to say link I want from React Router DOM. Okay, cool. Now I wanted to use here. So how can I use its link? Then it is going to provide one attribute, like how we have href in a anchor. In same way in link we have the two, and it should, here we have to mention the path. For home I will be mentioning /home. Okay, that's cool. Now here what I wanted to display, it should be like home. Now it should be a link, it should be like about, and here I want to give the link something like about, right? Here I wanted to take like contact, so here I'm going to take something like a contact. Okay, cool. Now I want to display this in the app component. So for that, first of all, I have to import it, right? So how can I import? Import nav from /components/your nav. Cool. So just I'm removing this one, and I wanted to say, I wanted to take one nav component from bootstrap, right? In the nav I want to design something, like I'm going to take something like class name will be, it will be like nav bar. It's everything bootstrap classes. I hope everybody knows the bootstrap. It's something like nav bar dark. I'm going to say bg dark. Okay, I'm going to say justify. Now I want the links in the right side, so for that's why justify content between, this is the class that is given by the bootstrap, right? Now here I want to take a href. I'm going to say it's like slash. For this slash I want to give some class name like nav bar brand. Okay, nav bar brand. Now here I wanted to say something like React routing. So just I'm designing the nav bar, right? So how it is going to look, let's see. Just copy it. Just if you want to run our application, what we have to do, just go to a terminal and just say npm start. So just I have used some bootstrap classes so that it looks properly in our browser. So I have took a navbar class, I mean in our component in the bootstrap, and I'm just using it. So let's see how it is going to display. Now it's a React routing. So it's something going to look like React routing. Okay, now I wanted to provide the links, something here like home, then about, and the contact. For that, what we have to do, first of all, we have to keep that one, right? So I'm going to keep here nav, because already we have constructed it. So let's see how the design is going to look. So we got link outside the router. Yes, now the why we are getting the error, because we have told that we should require a browser router, and all the components which wanted to use the router, that should be inside the browser router. So first of all, we have to import the browser router as well. So how can we import the browser router? So that browser router is coming from the library known as React Router DOM. So first of all, we have to import from React Router DOM. So let's import it. So how can we import? The simple thing, import, it should be like browser router from your React Router DOM. Now whatever components you wanted to use as a routing, you wanted to provide routing to any component, that all components should be inside a browser router. So which is our main component? This is the app. So I'm going to keep here browser router component, and this is the predefined component given by the React router library. So this is a browser router, so I have to keep everything inside the browser router. So let's wrap up everything in the browser router. Okay, we have wrapped up. Just save it and just go to your DOM. So now you are able to see here like home, about, contact. Now but we need some space between all them, right? So for that, let's go to our nav.js, and here let's take some class name like and we shall be giving something mx3 and text white, so that it will be display in the white text. So that's the main thing we have to do. So let's copy this. Okay, copy it and paste in all the link one, copied and copied, and just save it. Now just go to your browser. See, now we are able to see home, about, contact. Now whenever I'm going to click on the home, see the URL, it's like slash home. See, whenever it is going to refresh, right, first time whenever we are going to launch the application, it will be the slash. Now whenever I'm going to click on the home, it is something like slash home. Whenever I'm going to click on about, it will be like slash about. Whenever it is like contact, it is like slash contact. Now your route component, which is coming from React Router DOM, it is going to match your URL. Means how we have to, how it is going to match, just see it. So now we have done this. Just come to your app.js. Now I wanted to provide something here inside. Okay, after this nav. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to take one route component. This component is coming from React Router DOM. What route is saying, you have to use one parameter, one attribute known as path, and you have to configure one path. I'm configuring something path like slash home, and it should be exact. And it is saying you have to be use one more attribute known as component. Okay, component equals to, I want to say it should be the home component. So for that, home. Cool. So first of all, we have to import the home component. So let's import everything. Import home from slash home. import contact from contact, and one more we have to import your about from, it should be about. So now what route is saying, I'm going to use one attribute known as path. Now you have to configure one URL /home. Now I'm going to match this /home with the browser URL / like if it is a /home. If both are same, if it is matching /home here and in your route path, if it is matching /home, then I'm going to load component home. That's what he's saying. So in the same way, I wanted to say just match for everything. If the path is / if path matches with /about, then you have to load about component. If the path is going to match with /contact, then it should load your contact component. So we have configured it. It's simple, guys. If you want to give any routing for the component, all the components should be inside your browser router component. Okay, we have kept. Second thing, I am giving you one route component and it has one attribute known as path. It is going to match with your URL. If the URL is matching, then I am going to load the component which you have configured here. For example, if URL is matching with /home, it is going to load your home component. In the same way, if URL is matching with about, it is going to load about component, right? Just save it and just go to your here. So route is not defined because we have to import it. So from where we have to import? From your React.dom, because this is coming from your React.dom. So save, just go here. See, now whenever the application is going to load, now there is /, so nothing is going to come here because we have not configured with anything. Now when I'm going to click on home, now this is a /home. It is going to see in the URL /home. Then the control will comes to your route, right? It is going to come your route and it is going to check any path with the /home. Okay, it found, it matched. Then it is going to see which component I need to load. It's a home component. So that's why it is going to load your home component. Now it is going to click on about. So now it is a about, right? Whenever it matches with about, it is going to come in the route and see /about is there or not. Yes, it matched. So it will check which component I have to load. So it loaded about component. And I'm going to click on contact. It is going to load your contact component. So this is how we have to do routing in our React application using the React Router DOM library. So thank you for watching the video, guys. That's all.